Good morning and welcome to Take Your Life Back. Today, September 4th, it's about 3:30 in the morning. I just want to share with everyone something this morning. I saw a demonstration maybe about a month ago in reference to our dark side and the power of prayer. If you continuously pray over and over and over again, things will eventually become clear. Although a lot of times when we pray to God, we don't get answers right away. But if you continuously pray over and over, things become clear. So the demonstration involves this bottle, and if you see, the inside of this bottle is all dark liquid. That represents our dark side. And this cap represents our limitations. So we as a human, which is the bottle, have limitations, which is this cap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this bottle into the sink and we're going to do a demonstration. So let me put that there. I'm going to turn the camera around so that everybody can see it. And hopefully you folks can all see it now. Okay, so you see the bottle. I'm going to turn the water on. Okay, so now everything inside is dark, which represents our body and our inside. And what I'm going to do, and this clear water represents our prayer. So you see the continuous water running. I'm going to now, as the prayer, as we're praying, I'm going to lift our limitations, which is the cap. And we're going to slowly add our prayer to this. We all go through dark times. I mean, I've had some dark years. I just didn't understand everything that was happening. I'm going to admit it that I'm not a super patient person. I tend to want answers right away and know what's happening and what I can do to solve it. I don't like not being happy and confident about things. It's just not who I am. But when I get down, it takes a lot for me to get back up. If we pray for a sign, which is this, the water is prayer, but just give up because we feel like God's already heard our prayer and He knows what we need, but He hasn't answered. It's kind of like when we were kids in the toy store and we kept asking our mom and dad for toys, but we never got any results. Yeah, it never worked for me either, but you get what I mean. Anyway, that is exactly what's happened to me in the past years. I have prayed and prayed and prayed, but haven't really gotten any results. The answer I thought God would give me, and especially in the time of frame, I thought my problems would be fixed, which was all before 2013. Then in 2013, my cap of limitations was lifted. This is the cap, remember this now, was lifted off the bottle, which is my body. Here is where I will just show you how that worked for me. So basically we all have dark sides, which is what's in the bottle, was in the bottle. We are facing, and we take the limitations off our mind, which was the cap I lifted. Don't limit what He can do because we have to just trust in the Lord. That sometimes even after we pray and we just give up. And it is often why we get defeated. However, even though nothing has really changed, we just keep praying. That's the prayer, the sign of the prayer, the flowing Lord. Just keep praying and never ever give up praying. And if we do that and devote ourselves completely to the Lord, He will pull us through. The dark times will go away and we just have to be patient. I know it's hard. Being patient truly is a virtue. But by never ever giving up on prayer, it's going to show you that God will eventually answer all your prayer. And the more we pray, which is this water going into the bottle, one day everything will become clear. You see how clear this is now? That is the power of prayer. Folks, I think that demonstration says it all. If we had a bottle which represents our body, and the bottle, everything was dark on the inside, and the water coming out of the faucet represents the prayer, day after day after day, just keeps adding to the darkness which was in the bottle. Eventually all that prayer has to turn what was dark inside this bottle, which is our body, has to change and become as clear as this water in here. That, folks, is the power of prayer. Hello folks, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I just want to share my story with my situation back in 1981 in the United States Marine Corps. I was sitting in a chapel during boot camp, and a chaplain tapped me on the shoulder and asked me to come into his quiet room. As I was walking into his quiet room, I had no idea what he wanted from me. It was then that God was setting my life in motion. So the chaplain sat me down and he says, Ralph, I've noticed that you like to help people, you motivate people, you're always walking around with a smile. And I wanted to know, and this is the chaplain saying this to me, I wanted to know, Ralph, would you like to volunteer and become a lay leader? And of course, I had no idea what a lay leader was. So he explained to me what a lay leader was. It's somebody that is a liaison between the recruits and the chaplain. So when the recruits have issues, problems, or anything like that, they go to the lay leader, and they go to the chaplain as the lay leader to let the chaplain know of the situations that are happening. It was then in 1981 that God already had a plan for me, and what when there from that point on was that God realized that no matter how long it would take for me to achieve what God already knew what was going to happen to me, He would let me go down into the worst extremes in life. So from 1981 as a lay leader, and I'm going to show you the medal now with a lay leader, the front and the back. This is the back of the medal, and then the front looks like this. So in 1981, at Paris Island, South Carolina, when I became a lay leader, God already had my life set in motion. But again, He wanted me to set my own course in life. So I went down the years and the course of my life and did some of the worst things possible to my own body through alcoholism. God already said to Himself, well, I'm going to wait for Ralph to get close to hitting rock bottom. So from 1981 until 2011, which is 30 years, God came to me again and He said, Ralph, are you ready to continue helping other people? That's when I formed Mastic Beach Outreach 2011, and what that was is for older people and mentally and physically challenged people, that my wife and I would help them by giving them clothing, food, possibly, like in one case, tires for someone's car. And so God said, okay, he is getting better, but he's still not ready to do what I really wanted him to do. So in 2011, I continued my alcoholism to the point of 10 to 15 shots a day. As time went further, 2 years down the road, it became worse and worse with my alcoholism. In 2013, God finally put His big hand on my head and says, are you ready now? That is when I hit rock bottom. June 22nd, 2013, I reached out and I finally admit that I had an alcohol problem. It was then when God lifted me up and set my life in motion for today, September 2nd, 2014. So from 2013 until 2014, I continue educating myself and you, others, through my websites, through my videos on how to battle with addiction. And God saw this, and He said to Himself, Ralph is still continuing helping people. So in between 2013 and 2014, as time was going by, and I proved to God that I was really reforming myself, that God introduced me to Dr. Luis Gonzalez. I had been toying with the idea about becoming a substance abuse counselor until I ran into an article about recovery coaching. So I thought it was very ironic that God had planted Dr. Luis Gonzalez from Starting Point, that's StartingPointMN.com, 844-414-8444, into my life. Dr. Luis Gonzalez gave me the educational programming to turn me into a recovery coach. So while I was training for Dr. Luis Gonzalez to become a recovery coach, and today, my father comes from South Carolina to visit, and we're looking at my shrine, which my wife calls a shrine, which is all my Marine Corps ribbons and medals. And my father asked me, Ralph, what is this medal for? What is this particular medal for? And I then said to myself, here's where it all came together. I finally realized what that medal stood for and how it influenced me in my life. It was back in 1981 that God knew already that I would eventually, towards the middle or 60% of my life, be out to help other people, to continuously help people, to motivate people, to coach people. So it was from 1981 to 2011 that I ran my life to the ragged ends, to the pit of the worst. And then from 2011 to 2013, even worse than that. And then June 22nd, 2013, finally helped myself up with the grace of God. And in 2014 became an addiction recovery coach. And all that epiphany came to me due to my father asking me what this stood for. This particular silver medal, when he asked me that, it all finally came together, that God had bigger and better plans for me. And this is what I'm telling you, folks. There is a plan for you. No matter what the plan might be, you don't know what it is, but there is a plan for you. It's just a matter of you figuring it out. So why don't you let me help take your life back? Thank you. God bless you, and have a sober day. Hi, I'm Ralf Friedrichs. Welcome to Grand Central Station. The train to be here any minute, so if you're ready to get your life back on track, hop aboard. Let's go to www.clearviews.info, where I'll show you how a sober today can make a better tomorrow. If you're ready to get your life back on track, hop aboard the train coming in about 2 minutes. Thank you, and have a great day. www.clearviews.info. Good morning, my name is Ralf Friedrichs, and welcome to Take Your Life Back. Folks, today we're going to talk about something that really concerns everyone that's watching me, and that is to help fight addiction. And how do we help fight addiction? If it's not helping ourselves, how do we help others? And how can we use the social media to bring awareness to drug and alcohol addiction and the epidemic of drug war that's going on in this country? Before we go there, I just want to give a shout out to Dr. Luis Gonzalez from Starting Point. What Starting Point is, they have two separate entities. They have the first entity where he is a addiction recovery coach. He's a master addiction recovery coach, and what he does is he helps you go from addiction to recovery. He lets down the drawbridge and has you walk across it with him and guide you each and every day. He is not a counselor, nor is he a therapist. What he will do is he will help you face your daily battles with addiction, 24 hours at a time. He will ask you questions and help you bring the answers you already know to those questions out to the surface and out to the open. On the other side of Dr. Luis Gonzalez at Starting Point, he also has a program, an educational program for anyone that's willing to learn something like addiction recovery coaching. If you possess passion, personality, and professionalism, and you have some sort of addiction background, whether it's your own battles or battles within your own family that you're helping out, becoming an addiction recovery coach would be for you, and it is a rewarding job to have. It just lifts your self-esteem by helping others. So that is another issue that he has within his business. You can reach him at 844-414-8444. You can also reach him at www.startingpointmn.com. That's Dr. Luis Gonzalez at Starting Point. For me, I have two separate websites. My first one is called clearviews.info, and what clearviews.info is information about addiction and recovery. It's information from doctors, psychologists, and psychiatrists, and they write the articles, they present the clinical materials. I merely take their information and dispense that information to you. I am not a therapist or a counselor or a doctor. I am an addiction recovery coach. I utilize their experience and their clinical background to help you with your daily battles. What I do have on my own website at www.clearviews.info is all my own stories and my own videos. My life experience, whether it was good or bad, is beneficial for anyone to read and to see on video because it can help. I always say if I can only help one person for every video, that will be an accomplishment. There is one person that I help each and every day when I do these videos, and that is me. But I want to catch one other person. Now, on my other website, it's www.clearreform.com. The reform stands for reformation, transformation, where I will also, like Dr. Luis Gonzalez from Starting Point, put down a drawbridge from addiction to recovery, and I will also walk with you from addiction to recovery, 24 hours at a time. I do not dwell on the past, and I'm also not a therapist or a counselor. I am merely a master addiction recovery coach. I will sit there and help you in the ways that Dr. Luis Gonzalez would also help you. Together, we all can work to fight addiction. Excuse me. Wow. So together we can all work, and that is the subject of today. It's how we all can come together and use the social network to help fight addiction. So you have my two websites, and you can also go to Facebook, and I do now have a Clear Reform open group that you can join. There you will see all the things that you can imagine on addiction and recovery. You can also go to, I have two separate pages. One is Clear Reform, and the other one is clearviews.info. You can go there. I'm on Twitter, Dig, Google, Ask, Yahoo. You can find me everywhere. So go out and reach out to me if you want to text me, if you don't want to talk to me personally on the phone, 631-599-0218, or you can call me at 844-405-HELP. And you can also email me at clearreform, that's CLEARREFORM at yahoo.com. So let's jump right into it. We are talking about developing a social media plan to support substance abuse prevention efforts. It wasn't so long ago that the idea of creating a website for your prevention program or organization was new and exciting. Right after I hit rock bottom in 2013, about a month later, I started with clearviews.info. I came up with the word clear sitting at my job one day, and what the word clear means: community lessons empower addiction recovery. It's us as a community, our lessons that give us all strength to fight addiction recovery. So with so much to learn and to do and make it happen, it wasn't that long ago that we started saying, let's use the social media to sell items online, to utilize for advertising purposes, and also for fighting addiction. Today, static websites no longer make the grade. With the advent of social media such as Facebook and YouTube, which I utilize both, I have three separate channels on YouTube. People increasingly expect opportunities to comment, share, discuss, and collaborate during their visits to cyberspace. People want to be involved, and that is the perfect thing about it, because remember, what does the social media stand for? It's for us to all socialize. Social media is a dominant form of growing nature of online interaction, providing different and huge amount of different ways to promote, enhance, extend your prevention efforts. Folks, if you go to either one of my websites or any of my pages, you'll see how social media can and will promote your cause. With me, it's not a business as much as a cause. My cause is to help fight addiction. Yet there are hundreds of social media options to choose from, with new sites and features popping up all the time. While the rapid pace of technology may make the thought of jumping on board the social media train feel daunting, a well-conceived plan can help ensure a smooth ride. Folks, we'll talk about that, because I have laid out such a smooth running plan with my social media promoting my fight of addiction, whether it be my own fight or helping you fight, that if you had any questions whatsoever, if you wanted to help promote it, certainly come to me and we'll discuss all that in a few minutes. To develop this plan, you will need to take a step back and think through why you intend to use the social media to support your prevention efforts. A social media communication plan should include 6 steps. Step number 1, establish the goals. What do you hope to achieve by using social media? Well, what do I choose? What do I want to achieve? I want to achieve awareness. And I believe that going through social media, the awareness will be astronomically higher than if I just went through a newspaper clipping or magazine article. Let's just utilize Facebook for argument's sake here.
Millions of people use Facebook. So if you already have a personal account on Facebook and you want to bring awareness to addiction, whether it's for your own gratification or to help other people, like if you want to help me, that would be great. Open up a page, come up with a name like you would name a website, and start putting articles on there that you can copy and paste from other places. Just be aware of copyright violations, and pictures of other websites that you can put on your page. On, hypothetically here, we're utilizing Facebook for argument's sake. That is one of the reasons to establish a goal. Your goal at the end of the day, my goal at the end of the day, is to help people with their sobriety, to help people fight addiction, to educate people with educational tools on addiction and recovery. That is my goal. Now, whether I use Twitter, which I do, and Facebook, and Google, and Yahoo, and Dig, now I'm going to go to Dogpile, and Ask, and many other things. I have over 185 links, backlinks to my website on clearviews.info. That took about a year and 3 months to establish. Each and every month it's becoming stronger. Mind you, clearviews.info does not generate 1 penny. It is all non-monetary purposes. Anything that you see on there, I have utilized my own funds. It is people like you to help fight the addiction, but don't expect to make money on it. Now, on my other website, that's a whole different story. When I actually do the coaching aspect, there is money involved, but they're also getting services rendered. Anytime in life you have services rendered, there is going to be an exchange of funds. But on clearviews.info, which is huge out there in the social network, there is no money being exchanged, because I am not giving you anything but knowledge and my own free time and my own money. And that's to help. That is my contribution to folks. That is my way of staying sober every day. Yes, it does cost me money to do it. However, the end result of even saving one person per video would be worth every penny of it. Number 2, clarify the roles. Who should participate in your social media efforts? Include folks who are experienced, motivated, and able to dedicate their time in both planning, implementing your social media strategies, who are recognized early technology adapters in your agency, who secretly logging onto Facebook and Twitter in their spare time or blogging about their trip abroad. Those are the people you want to get, people that you know that are actually out there, that are constantly on Facebook, that are constantly doing blogging. It all started with me many years ago. That's how I even got onto the computer and started all my websites. It was just with simple blogging. I was traveling with a doctor up in Alaska, and we were down so much time constantly due to snowstorms that his name was Colin Reese, Dr. Colin Reese, and this was through our providing eye care and eyewear for the Eskimos, that he showed me a couple little steps on how to go on blogspot.com. And I created Our Special Memories by posting pictures, and it was really a personal diary for me. That is where my experience came from when I started utilizing computer. I had no clue what HTML codes were, or anything computer geek-wise. Here it is 5 years later. I have designed 3 separate websites, 4 separate websites I have designed, all on my own without the help from anyone out there, and that's just purely by doing. So when you clarify the role, if you need somebody to help you, find somebody that has the basic knowledge on how to get backlinks for your website or for your social network advertisement. But if you do create a website, make sure you have the icons for Twitter, Facebook, and Blogger at least on there. Excuse me, and Google also. Have those on there, because when people click on that, that automatically gets your website or your blog attention from the Googles and the YouTubes and the Twitters. So define the role of who's going to do that. And if it's just you doing it like I have been doing, that's great too, because it's easier then to keep track of what's going on. Develop an image. Folks, my image on my website, the first thing you're going to see when all you have to do is go to the Google search bar and put down Clear Views Ralffriedrichs.info. That's CLEARVIEWS.info. What is going to pop up, which is my image? Anything to do with substance abuse. Anything to do with substance abuse. And you'll see, if not dozens, maybe 100 different articles, not articles, but icons that you can punch on. When you put it in clearviews.info in the search bar, you're not going to just see one website. You're going to see a huge amount of things from the year and a half that I've been doing this. So develop an image for yourself. If you're going to fight addiction through social media and you want to create a website, don't put an image of a mountain or put an image of a person on a skateboard. Use an image of one of my websites. The image would be a fork in a road. On one side is addiction, the other side is recovery, and pretty much it says you make the choice. That's an image. On my other website, an image would be community lessons empower addiction recovery, with a person standing on a mountain with his arms raised in glory. That's an image. So utilize the image for the message for the image. Develop a brief and memorable acronym or nickname to use online. Mine is constantly take your life back. That is my slogan. Just like the other day when we talked about just say no with Nancy Reagan, that was a slogan. You need to come up with something that people will remember constantly. When people think of Ralf Friedrichs, they think of recovery and take your life back. Because if you look at all my videos, the title is always take your life back. Or not the title, but the message. Simplify your language. Remove formal language and excess jargon. Mission and vision statements that make sense in grant proposals and progress reports can't appear awkward online. You need to utilize key words, tags, if you're creating a website with social media being your backup. If it's about addiction, tags would be recovery, alcohol, drugs, sobriety, rehab. Those are tag words. If you're doing addiction or recovery, you don't want things like baseball, things like sunshine. You need to have a keyword and a tag that relates to the message that you're putting out. That's the bottom line. The virtual world is a visual world. When people look at my websites, what they see is neat and appealing. Neat and appealing. Don't have things scattered all over the place. I've been on websites, folks, I'll tell you right now, you want to talk about my first video, total wrecks. And these people hired people to do this. Again, I've done everything on my own. The virtual world is a visual world. Consider using a creative and colorful logo, which I do, icon or photograph to represent your program and your organization. One of my photos all the time is me leaning by the counter, and it says, take your life back on time. That is one of my famous logos and photos for all my websites. Let's see. Let's go right over here. Select tools. The world of social media is expanding daily. Platforms include social networking sites such as MySpace, which is kind of outdated a little, but you can still utilize them. Facebook, huge. Blogs such as Xanga, Blogger, microblogs such as Twitter and Tumblr. And image video sharing sites such as Flickr and YouTube. YouTube is a huge way to go out and advertise for yourself. When you do these videos, all mine are on YouTube. Like I said, I have 3 or 4 different channels. Related to this video, my channels are Take Your Life Back 1 and Take Your Life Back 2. All with Ralf Friedrichs. Over 80-something videos total now. YouTube is huge. Each serves a different purpose. If you think of Flickr, what do you think of? Pictures, images. If you think of Twitter, what do you think of? Information being exposed to the public immediately. When selecting a platform, first zero on who you want to reach. Be very clear on who you want to reach. Then figure out the best way to reach them. Talk to members of your target audience to find out which social media tools they prefer and how they use them. Think carefully about the kind of information you want to share and how you want your audience to use it. I always concentrate on everyone. I don't narrow down on certain people because everyone can have an addiction. If you look at all my videos, every single one, there is a person from a different society, from a different culture, Alcohol and drugs do not pick and choose on certain people. They will take whoever they can take. We're going to talk about that in a minute. If you want to increase your visibility or build awareness of your brand, and both provide information and solicit input from the community, create a Facebook page, which I just discussed with you. If you want to offer lengthy updates to provide detailed information about specific topics, add a blog to your website. If you have a great set of photos and compelling videos from recent events, post them on Flickr and on YouTube, which is what I do. If you need to communicate urgently or frequently with program participants about ongoing tasks and projects, try texting and tweeting them. I text at least 5 people my videos as I do them. Folks, this all comes down to there is no picking and choosing when it comes to addiction. Everybody has a beginning of their life, and everybody is going to have an end of their life. It is in between the beginning and the end what counts most, folks. I'm going to go through my story, and then we're going to jump into step number 5. My story started in 1961 at my birth. From 61 until I was 17 and 18, I was a normal child. Had a couple situations here and there like any youngster would. Kept creating my own chapters of my own life. Graduated high school, went to college, joined the Marine Corps. Then in 1981, a chaplain came and tapped me on the shoulder and asked me to become a lay leader. I, of course, had no idea what a lay leader is. In hindsight now, thinking about it, it came to me about maybe a month and a half ago what a lay leader and what an addiction recovery coach, how they are so similar. Because back then in 1981, God already knew when the chaplain tapped me on the shoulder what I was going to do for the rest of my life. It was just a matter of how long it would take me to write the right chapters of my own life. I agreed to become a lay leader. A lay leader is between the recruits and the chaplain. He goes as a liaison mediator between the two. That was the first sign that God had something set for me, but God continuously let me write my own chapters. 1983, we had the bombing in Beirut, Lebanon. I had a terrible accident. Continued writing my own chapters. Continued drinking. From 81 till 83, my drinking became worse, being in the military, being deployed constantly, being on ships everywhere, being in different countries, and being away from my family. I continuously drank more and more. Then got out. My book and life, my chapters continued. Not the best. Still a functional, good human. Not abusive to people, but I still had alcoholism. Now I'm going to fast forward from 83 all the way to 2009. Traveling in Alaska with Dr. Colin Reese, the one that got me involved in blogging. Had an accident in one of the villages. It took me 3 years to recover of physical therapy from that accident. It was during those 3 years that my drinking became the worst ever because I was home, not working because I was on workman's comp. In 2011, God tapped me on the shoulder again and said, Ralph, are you ready to rewrite your chapters in your book of life? He gave me the idea to open up massivebeachoutreach2011.com, which is to help people that physically and mentally or financially are challenged. My wife and I tried to supply food to them, provide services, maybe fixing, like one time we fixed a wheelchair, one time we helped a person with tires. God noticed still I had what it took to be that person that He knew I would be, but God also knew I still had an addiction problem. He continues to let me write my own chapters in my own book of life. From 2011 all the way to 2013, like I said, was the worst when it came to my drinking. 10 to 15 shots of vodka a day. In 2013, I finally hit rock bottom. It was then that God knew that I was ready to rewrite every single chapter from that day, June 22nd, 2013, to the rest of my life. Rewrite them and make them better. It is then that God lifted the shield that He had around me. That shield protected me from a Marine Corps accident that I could have died, from Alaska accident that I could have died, from overdose and alcohol abuse that I could have died 2-3 times. I could have been dead 5 times possibly. But I didn't die because God had a shield around me. So in 2013, he lifted that shield because he knew I was strong enough to protect my own interest, to rewrite my chapters in my book of life. 2013, when I hit rock bottom, I went to AA 4 to 5 meetings. I felt I needed to be more involved. I needed to have a higher impact on people than just merely sitting in a room every day for an hour and just exchanging stories. It is a month later that I created clearviews.info. Hence, that created this whole epidemic of my method. Like AA, which has 12 steps, like AA, which has education to give to their people, I have 16 alternative steps. My education, my videos, and my articles, and my reading material on my websites, and my biggest asset on recovery is helping people, which AA doesn't seem to advertise as much. My mission in life is to help anyone that's willing to accept my help for addiction and addiction and recovery. It is in 2013 when I hit rock bottom that God already knew that I was set for the rest of my life to continue my work in helping others. So what does God do? Out of nowhere, Dr. Luis Gonzalez from Starting Point shows up in my life. His phone number is 844-414-8444. He showed up out of nowhere. God pushed Dr. Luis Gonzalez and me together. We spoke. He looked at a couple of my videos and he was impressed on how I approached recovery. We agreed on me going through his educational program. So when I was a lay leader in 1981, after graduating from the program from Dr. Luis Gonzalez, I then became an addiction recovery coach. A lay leader and an addiction recovery coach are so similar. That is my point, folks. That God knew in 1981 what my plans were going to be in 2014. I didn't know, but God said, Ralph, go ahead. Run your life to a point where you're going to finally realize that you can't do it on your own without me. And it was then, June 22nd, 2013, when I realized that, when I reached up to God, to my higher power, and asked for guidance and direction. He has guided and directed me each and every day since then. And folks, when I tell you this, life has become better each and every step, each and every day. No, I'm not getting tons of money from people. No, I don't have a huge house and many cars. But what I do have is sobriety. What I do have is a clear mind. And God is rewarding me in ways that are unimaginable. You might ask how. Such as business opportunities showing up for extra money that I would have never thought about before. Such as Dr. Luis Gonzalez coming into my life to refine, remold what I already had in me, which was the leadership to help others. He remolded and gave me the clinical aspect of it, the education aspect of it, how to speak to people, what questions to ask people that are in addiction. He helped mold me, and God created this. God created Dr. Luis Gonzalez from Starting Point and myself to meet. So I sit here today, Friday, September 12th, in front of you as a reformed person. I started reforming in 2013. I started rewriting the books, the chapters in my book of life. In 1961 to 2013, those chapters were shady at best. From 2013 to right now, they've become better and better each and every month, each and every year. And they will continuously get better. As long as the good Lord keeps me on earth, I will keep writing good chapters in my book of life. So my question to you folks is, where are you today? Question number one, folks, are you addicted? And then my next follow-up question to you then would be, are you ready for change? Now, if you answered no to the first question, the second question is immaterial. But if you answered yes to, are you addicted? Then answer the number two question, are you ready for a change? And I'm going to follow up with, assuming that you answered yes, you are ready. Are you ready to fully admit and stop denying that you have an alcohol and or drug addiction? If you can't do that, then you're not ready for change. But if you can do that, then today, September 12th, 2014, you are going to start rewriting the chapters in your book. I say this all the time, people. Folks will remember your book of life towards the end a lot more than the middle or the beginning, due to a lot of reasons. The end is usually what they'll remember because it's the last thing that happened, and because people after a while start losing their memory. Folks, here's a perfect example. Pretend that we are like boxers, and we have judges out there judging every single round that we fight against our opponent. If you're a boxer that usually turns on your extra power in the last minute of every round, those judges will remember that a lot more than the first 2 minutes. They'll remember you because you outpunched your opponent in the last minute 2-1. Well, that is the comparison you want to use on your chapters of your book of life. The judges, meaning your relatives and God, will only start caring as much towards the end. If you are ready today, and your chapters have been like mine, less than shady, or better than shady, less than shady, is that a word? Whichever. If you're ready to do that, reach out to your higher power. God will, today, September 12th, 2014, take you, as long as you go to Him and say, Jesus, I am so sorry for all my sins. I ask for guidance and direction. He will forgive you no matter what you do. That is a proven thing. He forgives murderers. He'll certainly forgive you no matter what you did. And if you're anything like me, my shady past was only pretty much all related to alcoholism. I was always a good human. I always had a good heart. But the alcoholism or the drug addiction, they speak for you louder than you can speak for yourself if you let them. Like a boxer, you need to have your opponent being your addiction, and you need to outpunch your addiction. You need to knock your addiction out daily, 24 hours at a time. That addiction will keep getting up, but you got to keep knocking it down, and that's what you need to do in your book of life. Let's go into step number 5. Determine content. You need to determine what your social media content will be. If it's addiction or recovery related, of course it's all. You're not going to put recipes of lasagna on there. You're not going to put the weather report on there. Well, you can put the weather in there. That's actually a bad example. But you're not going to put things that are not related to addiction recovery, such as articles about celebrities, only if they're addicted to something or if they've survived addiction. Sports figures, only if it's related to the addiction part of it. That is what that is meant by. Social media is all about interaction. Any content posted to these sites will, by definition, invite commentary. Rich online discussions mean welcoming many points of view. Tips for inviting interaction are: mix it up. You need to refresh your social media / website daily. I do daily. If you are doing it long enough, you'll get scores from Google constantly. And Google will let you know, I've been scoring 100 for quite some time, and that's because I daily refresh the information. Make it count. Whatever you put on there, make it impressive and make it count. You got to think on a small base. Don't think huge. You're not going to be a Walmart, and you're not going to be a Facebook. Be present. You need to make sure that you are present. Put your contact information, anything like that, you need to be able to put that on there. Stay current. Social media tools are continually evolving with new tricks and trade. So constantly educate yourself. It's like fighting your addiction. You need to educate yourself constantly on that. Don't talk at people. Engage your audience. Invite responses. Encourage people to interact another, as well as with program organization representatives. I always, on my web pages, if you go on www.clearviews.info, I always encourage people to contact other people. That way they are getting other opinions. Show more than you tell. Images and articles are the most important thing. I do write a lot out of my own heart, but images, a picture says 1,000 words, is the same. Be positive. Show yourself affirming to others. That's not just in the social media and helping fight addiction. That's in anything in life. You need to be positive to get positive results. Let the sunshine into your heart and your home, and you will always be positive. We're going to talk about that sunshine in a minute. Last step is refine your efforts. Monitor your social media efforts and work toward improving your messages. I monitor by feedback and my scoring from Google, my scoring from Dig, and from Bing. That's how you monitor those things. But you need to give it time. If you created a website today, it's not going to show results probably for about 6 months or so. So give it time. Folks, this is about social media and how you can play a part in helping addiction. How you can utilize social media to help our cause. Whether you're addicted or not, you can still help people. Because I guarantee you, there is someone in your home or at your job or in your environment around you that you daily speak to that has an addiction. They might have not admitted it yet. Maybe they're not ready to go turn to a higher power or for any method, but they have an addiction. So I am asking all of you folks to help me in the fight. Create some sort of media, whether it be socially or a blog. Even if you just go on mine and leave your comments, that's good enough. This was for all intents purposes to teach you how to use social media to do your advertisement. Now, if you don't use it for for addiction purposes, utilize what I just told you for any business that you want to do. Whether it's selling jeans, sneakers, or candles, it comes to the same thing, because I am selling addiction recovery methods and education as much as you may want to sell your candles. The methods are the same. They really are. So simple. If you just go by the steps, the methods are the same. Establish your goals, clarify your roles, develop an image, select the right tools, determine content, and then refine your efforts, and then give it some time. It's the same thing. Folks, you're out there and you have an addiction and you're ready for change. There are different methods to go by. We talked about my method in AA, but I'm going to briefly touch up on that. AA is a 12-step program, been around since 1936. They have usually in classrooms or in schools or in churches meetings. If you're new and you just hit rock bottom, AA does prefer that you do the 90-90, which is 90 days and 90 meetings. After your first 24 hours of sobriety, they will give you a token that states 24 hours. And of course, those tokens come along with yearly plateaus being reached. I did go to AA, but I needed to be more involved, and I created clearviews.info, in turn created clearreform.com, in turn created 3 separate pages on Facebook. I just grew and grew and grew. I am not anything near AA by all means, because I don't have the budget to promote like they do. Had I had the budget to do that, I'm sure I can help people a lot more. But this is the best I can do, and it is working. So you can utilize my methods. If you really have a severe enough problem, definitely check yourself into a treatment center. They offer the 30, 60, 90-day programs. They do take insurance and Medicaid, but if you don't have insurance, go onto your state's website and see if they offer anything for people that don't have insurance, like programs. If you don't see anything, text me at 631-599-0218, or you can email me at clearreform.com. That's CLEARREFORM.com. I'll try to do my best to help you. I was able to locate a rehab center for a friend of mine, but one of the requirements by the treatment center was a 100% detox, and the person that was going to go to this rehab didn't want to do that. They wanted to, more or less, from what I understand, I could be wrong about this, more or less wanted to get a different medication to kind of, the detox going down to self-medicate to bring something else up, and the rehab center wouldn't agree to that. So you have those 3 methods, but folks, I'm telling you right now, any method that you utilize, any method needs to be, you need to include your higher power. Remember, God gave you a book of life when you were born. When God created you, He created you to be a perfect human at birth. What you do from your beginning of your book into the last chapter, which is your death in life, is totally up to you. It is totally up to you, but you can put that burden on God's shoulder by reaching out and asking for guidance and direction. I didn't do that from 1961 until 2013. So my chapters in my book were not the most impressive chapters. all relating to alcoholism, because yet I was always good-hearted and a good human. I always had that issue of alcoholism. Then I turned, when I hit rock bottom, I turned for guidance, and from 2013 to whenever my end of time is, those chapters will be better than my first chapters before 2013. You can do the same, but you need to reach out to your higher power, folks. You really need to reach out to them, to him. Once you reach out to him, set up an action plan on how you're going to face sobriety daily and how you're going to fight addiction. Utilize the methods, AA, mind methods, treatment centers. Utilize any of those methods. But folks, I'm going to say this, it all starts in your own home. You need to be a role model. Whether you're a mommy or a daddy or a grandparent or a legal guardian, you need to be a role model. Even if you're a youngster watching me right now, be a role model to your younger brother or your sister. Or be a role model to your father who's drinking all the time or your mother who's smoking. But folks, you need to be a role model. I say this clearly. Children look at their parents, their grandparents, or their legal guardians as heroes. So when they see their hero smoking, they would think it's okay to smoke. If they see their hero drinking all day, they're going to think it's okay to drink. If they see their hero physically or verbally abusing another person, they're going to think it's okay because you're their hero. If they see or hear you running that nasty profanity all day, using the F word like it was part of the English language, they will utilize that F word out in society. You are required by God to make your child, your youngster's life from birth until at least 18 as the best role model ever. In other words, God wants you to show this child the best leadership. Those chapters from 1, that's birth, to 18, that's 18th year, you need to help your child write those chapters. Your child can't write those chapters. Those chapters should include family dinners, family time out, family game night. Those chapters should not include physical or verbal abuse, should not include profanity, smoking, and drinking. Those from day 1 till age 18, your child needs to be groomed and prepped for a society that is so lousy, that is so negative, that when they go out there, they have a shield around them. But if you're going to drink and smoke and use profanity in front of your children, those children are just going to feel like at home when they go to society. They're going to feel at home because what they heard at home, they're going to see out, they're going to hear out there. But let your child see, with your role modelship and your leadership, that when they leave at 18, that society is terrible to where they came from. Show them that you are the hero that they really think that you are. Show them that. But you need to start at home, folks. It all starts at home. You need to start today, September 12th, 2014, and make today the best day of the rest of your life. And each day will become better. That I guarantee you, folks. So take all this information that I mentioned to you about leadership, about setting goals, about being a role model, and let it sink into your heart like the sunshine should. And make your home a positive home. Let's readdress this real quick. Developing social media plan for support substance abuse prevention efforts. Step 1 is to establish goals. You need to establish goals. What is your goal? For business, for argument's sake, we're going to talk about the goal here being for addiction purposes. You can utilize this information, do whatever business you want, but we're talking about addiction. The goal here would be to how would I help people that are in recovery and addiction. I need to clarify the roles. Is it just going to be me on this website or this social media operating? Am I the only person that's going to put information online? I need to develop an image. What is my image if it's about addiction? Will it have a martini glass with a cigarette in a circle with a cross over it? That's an image. Or will it be a giraffe just standing there? That's not an image for addiction recovery. So I think you understand what I'm saying. The image has to go with what the message is. Selected tools. The world of social media is expanding daily. Platforms include social networking such as MySpace, Facebook, Xanga, Blogger, microblogs such as Twitter and Tumblr and Flickr. Those are all tools for you to utilize to expose what your message is, no matter what your message is. In our case, it's addiction. Determine content. You need to make sure that whatever you put on there is related to your message. If your message is about addiction, you don't want to sell sneakers. Pretty simple. These are some tips. You need to mix up the information daily. You need to make every item on there count. You need to think small. Don't think huge. You're not Walmart, you're not YouTube, or you're not Facebook. You need to be present, meaning that you need to put a little personality into your social network website. You need to stay current. Don't write things from 1980 or 1985. Try to stay in the year 2000 and up. Don't talk at people. Don't point a finger at one individual. If you notice on all my videos, I never point a finger at one person. I use every avenue to point fingers as a group. If you're a drinker, you're a drinker when I say about the role model, or a smoker. I never say one person's name. I'll never utilize names in here. Show more than you can tell. That's another thing that you need to do. 1 second. Be positive. Just like anything in life, you need to be positive. But more importantly is positive in life, but you also need to be positive with your website or your social networking. Never write things that are negative, because people will turn away from negativity. Just like in your home. If you're not positive in your home, negative will take over. Refine your efforts and give it some time. You need to give it time. So folks, start with the role model at home. If you want to help promote addiction or whatever you might want to help, utilize this social networking information I provided. For my all intents purposes was about promoting addiction and recovery. But you can utilize it for whatever business you want to utilize it for. I don't expect anyone to constantly think about addiction recovery. I have to do that because I need to stay sober. I have to do that because I need to keep you sober if possible. Together we can fight as a team. We are a community, and our lessons empower addiction recovery. It really does. Our lessons globally. And if you reach to your higher power, ask for guidance and direction, and if you also utilize AA or my methods or a treatment center, together we can all fight addiction. And if you start at home, become the hero that your son or your daughter really should see. That is a person that cares and loves for them and does not utilize profanity, smoking, drinking, or domestic abuse. If you need to smoke, do it outside. If you need to drink, do it away from your children. If you need to use the profanity, which I can't understand why you would need to, but if you need to do it away from your children, not in front of their young ears. And if you need to abuse physically someone, you need to seek therapy and counseling. And if you're the victim that constantly gets beat on by your spouse or a partner, you need to seek the authorities. I say this once and I'll say it again. A punch here and a slap there eventually will escalate to a knife or a gun. It is easier to seek the authorities and have the police come to arrest the abuser than to have someone else call the police to remove the victim's body. It's that simple, folks. So I ask you all to set the role model at home, to keep the prescription drugs out of your medicine cabinet that are addictive, and to raise Johnny as you need to raise him, as a role model and a hero, not as a drunk, a smoke addict, person that curses all the time and hits people. Raise him as a loving father or mother or grandparent or legal guardian. Sit at the dinner table. Utilize your discussions at dinner nightly as an open forum. You will find out that there might be issues that you need to know about Johnny, whether it be peer pressure or bullying or smoking or drinking. But utilize that quiet time with your family daily to find this information out. Never ever just accuse somebody of anything. You can find out information from people just by speaking to them. That information eventually will just come out. So that's what you need to do, folks. Let today, your book of life, no matter when you were born, I was in 61 whenever I died, let today, September 12th, 2014, be the new chapter that you're going to write, which will say, I finally hit rock bottom, and I'm going to, from this point on, seek help with my addiction. I will learn to live with recovery without alcohol and or drugs. Don't keep writing those bad chapters. One day it might be too late to rewrite the chapters in your book. One never knows if one wakes up the next morning. You hear it all the time. So make that decision today. If you need to talk to me, you can call me. 844-405-HELP. You can text me at 631-599-0218. You can email me at clearreform.com. That's CLEARREFORM.com. I mean at yahoo.com. That's clearreform@yahoo.com. I'm sorry. You can also go to my websites, www.clearviews.info. That's CLEARVIEWS.info. You can also go to clearreform.com. That's CLEARREFORM.com. You can go to Facebook. We have an open group called Clear Reform. We also have two pages, clearviews.info and Clear Reform. There's so many methods to get a hold of me. Get a hold of Dr. Luis Gonzalez at Starting Point. His website is www.startingpointmn.com. That's startingpointmn.com. You can call him at 844-414-8444. That's Dr. Luis Gonzalez. He can help you either with your recovery or he can help you become an addiction recovery coach. You have so many channels to reach out to, folks. It all comes down to you. Are you ready for change? Are you ready for a better rest of your life? Or do you just want to accept the good old what you are now? Because when you go in front of that mirror, what do you see? Because what you see is what you are. When I go in front of that mirror, what I see is a person that daily fights recovery, that daily wins the battle. I might not be better looking as time goes on, but I am certainly able to see a person that has been writing better chapters in his book. When you see yourself, do you see that? Or do you see a person that is thinking about drinking tonight or doing drugs tonight? And if that's what you see, you need to start changing. You need to start changing today. Tomorrow is not guaranteed for anyone, folks. I hope the social network information that I provided you today has helped you. And it's so simple. Establish your goals, clarify your roles, develop an image, select the tools, determine your contact, and refine your efforts. And then give it time. Try to promote as much as you can. The cheapest way to start promoting is on Facebook. Create a page. And then maybe go to www.webs.com. That's webs.com. Very inexpensive way, and it's very easy to create a website there. Folks, it's always a pleasure to get a hold of you folks each and every day. We're going to have another video tomorrow on Saturday, and hopefully yesterday on Throwback Thursday you enjoyed mocktails, which are cocktails without alcohol. And if you just take any name of those mocktails, there were 10 of them, and go on Google, you'll be able to get the recipe. I hope you let the sunshine into your heart and into your home, because pure sunshine is positive, and positivity gives you positive reaction. Negative feelings or negative thoughts will give you nothing but negative results. You need to let the sun into your heart and your home. And always remember that a sober today will give you a better tomorrow. That I guarantee you. Because if you believe it in here, it will become clear out there. Crystal clear. I hope you enjoyed all the preview videos. One in particular was the power of prayer, and you got to remember that the power of prayer is so effective. The more you pray, as long as you lift that limitation cap off your bottle, which is your body, The power of prayer will help you in your daily thoughts, in your daily activities, and your daily actions. And continuously educate yourself on addiction and recovery. And reach out to Dr. Luis Gonzalez or reach out to me. All the contact information is right here. But I hope that you have a great day. I will see hopefully everybody tomorrow, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Like always, let the sun into your heart and into your home. Think positive, get positive results. God bless you, and have a sober day.